MeMonster.
Chapter 206. The Guild Life of Anything had begun. Since only masters from the same sector could join the Silver Star Guild, Anything was a temporary member. However, Satram, the guild leader, did not discriminate against him. He granted Anything item distribution rights and assigned him the rank of a full guild member. The Silver Star Guild claimed that all members were equal, whether they were the guild leader or a temporary member. At least, on the surface. It seems our turn will never come around. In the temporary quarters on the second floor of the villa, Velkist was skimming through the ledger. As far as I know, 2 people received resources yesterday, yet our turn is still last. They were given priority due to urgent circumstances. There's nothing we can do about it, right? That's true, but... Velkist and Jenna both looked at me, their expressions asking what to do. Receiving distribution rights was good, but even after 3 days, our turn was still last. It's because of those so-called vigilantes. Besides the woman from the other day, several vigilantes had taken others' turns. According to Audiobook, they were heroes who had made significant contributions in capturing this ruin from PvP players and were practically the muscle of the Silver Star Guild. Well, it makes sense. No matter how remote it is, there will always be PvP players approaching the ruins. Jenna reported that during her reconnaissance around the ruined island, she spotted a pirate fleet lurking from afar. They would attack the moment they saw any weakness. The woman's words from the other day, saying that if the Silver Star vigilantes weakened, enemies would invade, were not unfounded. In ideal paradise where everyone is equal and peaceful, Velkis sneered. It was what Audiobook had told us when introducing the Silver Star Guild. The talk of a person who knows nothing about the world. I can't understand how they reached the 40th floor. Maybe they only faced easy missions. Velkist half drew his sword from its sheath, then looked at me with cold eyes. Let's overturn it. You should know better. This place is a mess. It's full of hypocrites. The strong take everything. It has always been that way. How long do we have to play this child's game? Isn't that right, Archer? Well, Jenna scratched her cheek. Isn't the master's opinion more important than deciding among ourselves? Right, that annoying fellow. But isn't he just your puppet anyway? You're the puppet. Watch your words. My apologies. Velkist crossed his legs. The reason I couldn't make a decision was because of Anything. Ultimately, the master overseeing Kaunia was Anything. How Anything handled this incident would determine our future path. Of course, even if I overturned this place, Anything would not blame me. At the most, he would consult Loki's email address. I could just answer as Loki and cover it up appropriately. Puppet. It was not entirely wrong. Most of the waiting room had flowed in the direction I wanted so far. If I were the master, I would never get involved with a guild like this. In some ways, it's more troublesome than PvP guilds. They choke you with pens instead of swords. During my time as a master, I was marked for months on a major community site as a prime example of an ill-mannered user. Until the misunderstanding was cleared, I had to fight countless users. There are always such people. If they were PvP-oriented users, I could fight to my heart's content, but dealing with these guys is quite tricky, unless they are masters with no future. Anything was a promising figure with a bright future. What would you do if you were the master? I would endure it for now. Endure? That's not like you. Could you fight on 2 fronts? Capturing the ruins doesn't end it. If you're marked as an ill-mannered master, many masters would simply invade your main base. With the 50th floor strategy ahead, it would be burdensome. But if they keep acting like this, would you still endure? I picked up the statue on the table, a size that fit perfectly in one hand, finely crafted, holding up 2 muscular legs. It was the brave warhorse statue that Anything had gifted me as a 45th floor clear reward. I was glad he gifted me this statue. Just touching it brought peace of mind. Well, I rolled the statue in my hand and looked down at the sword sheath below my belt. It was not Bifrost, but it was a well-made long sword crafted with great care at the item workshop. Well, for now, I should observe how things go here. Guild channel. Anything. Hello, I'm a temporary guild member, but please take care of me. Satram, welcome. Yam Yao Yang, nice to meet you. Galkami, welcome newbie. That evening when Anything logged in to pick me up and greeted everyone, a few guild members welcomed him. They were genuine herbivore users. They had minimal combat ability since they had climbed to the 40th floor, but they had now given up climbing and were focused on running the waiting room, nurturing heroes, and decorating waiting room. Because it wasn't fun. Because they felt the limits of climbing. Because they felt sorry for the heroes dying. Because decorating was fun. Anyway, they were also among the diverse users enjoying Pick Me Up. Blue Rose. By the way, did you see the new flower decoration in the shop? It's so pretty. Milk Love. You mean the daffodil? Blue Rose. Yes, that one. It would look perfect in the garden. It's only 300 gems per tile. My heroes love it. 300 gems per tile is ridiculously expensive. If they feel it's cheap, then so be it. Lakshmi. Does anyone have the 5-story circular waiting room model? I want to expand and follow it. Satrum. I have it. Give me your email and I'll send the file. The guild chat was constantly filled with such conversations. There was hardly any combat-related information. Mostly it was about decorating the waiting room. Since Pick Me Up has a well-set system for customizing the waiting room, diving into it can be as fun as combat. On the other hand, there were a few members who differed from this atmosphere. The vigilante members. They never greeted anyone when they logged in. Even if someone asked a question about heroes or missions, they ignored it or brushed it off. Occasionally, their conversations went like this. Melt. Hey. Die. Yeah. Melt. Come in. Die. Yeah. They would throw out cryptic messages in the guild chat. Probably come in meant a private chat channel for a smaller group. Well, whatever happens with the Silver Star Guild or whatever they do, I don't care as long as we get our share. Anything seemed to think similarly, as he rarely participated in guild chat except when logging in or logging out. Then one day, as Edis was about to send me an update report, Melt. Anything, are you there? A core member of the vigilante team called out to Anything in the guild chat. I stopped writing the letter to Edis. Anything. Yes. Melt. Sorry, but I have something urgent to tell you. Can you come over? Ding.
Melt has invited you to the private chat channel Silver Star Vigilante. Do you accept? Yes or no? I put down the pen. It seemed like something was happening. Are you there? There was a knock on the door, followed by the sound of someone pacing outside. Jenna and Velkist had gone out for evening training, leaving me alone in the room. Isn't this Israt of Taunia? I have something to say. Can you open the door? When I opened the door, a brown-skinned woman dressed in leather armor appeared. She was the female warrior who had pushed aside the middle-aged man a few days ago, claiming priority. Her name was Sajar Mekni. She was the submaster under Melt, the leader of the vigilante team. Phew, lucky you were here. Sajar strode into the room and sat on the sofa. Then she looked up at me and spoke. You are the winner of the Dimensional City, right? The so-called Mad Dog who swept through dozens alone? I also participated in that tournament. I didn't do well, but I saw you fight in the Battle Royale and solo matches, cracking the ground with a single strike. So what? Join the vigilante team. No, to be precise, the guild we are about to form. Sajar began to speak. Our master also recognized your value. He's probably talking to your master about it now. Honestly, aren't you tired of playing nanny to weaklings and cleaning up after them? At first, I thought it was okay, but as time went on, I realized this wasn't it. Sajar's blue eyes darkened. Just before you guys arrived, this place was attacked. 23 Silver Star members died, but all the dead were from the vigilante team. Do you know why? Because no other masters sent reinforcements. Bastards! Do they even know how many died to capture this place? Many more died protecting the ruin afterwards. Weapons, troops, airships, we provided everything. They just sucked their thumbs and whined about the resources we took to make up for our losses, saying it was unfair. Indeed. I stroked the warhorse statue. It seemed I didn't have to wait long. We're going to topple them all, Sajar said. The ones who only want to take advantage while claiming weakness. Those who refuse to take on any dangerous tasks, shaping their heads. The bastards who bow in front but stab us in the back. These are the ones we're against. So help us. No thanks. What? No thanks. Simultaneously, Anything responded. No thanks. I understood the situation well.
Being weak doesn't necessarily mean being good. Some people mistake kindness for entitlement. I looked at the water bottle on the desk. A flower was stuck in it. It was a gift from a hero of some master as a joining present. Then you're willing to give up resources for such guys despite having the strength? What nonsense! Then why? Go back. I've heard enough complaints. If you join us, we will give you priority for resources. Leave! I reached for the sword. Sajar's expression hardened. Take your lackeys hiding behind the door with you. You'll regret it. That's not your concern. Sajar glanced at me and then left. Anything exited the Silver Star Vigilante's private chat immediately after. Ridiculous, to drag us into such petty political fights. I looked out the window. Sajar and the Vigilante members were leaving the quarters. Oops! The window suddenly opened, and Jenna nimbly jumped in. So that's what was happening. When did you come? I've been here for a while. I saw some suspicious people heading this way. Jenna walked over to me. I guess I had false hopes. It would have been easier to fight from the start. Indeed. So what will you do, Oppa? I threw the letter I was writing to Edis into the trash can. Then I picked up the flower on the water bottle. With a slight force, the flower's stem snapped. I threw the broken flower into the trash as well. Jenna sighed and said, Well, I figured it would come to this. There will be a vigilante stronghold near the crystal. I'll find out the structure. Inform Velkus, too. Get ready. Aye, aye. I clicked my tongue. Annoying bastards! They've just wasted my precious time.
Chapter 207. The Second Floor Lodging of the Villa. I stood by the window, gazing outside. In the meadow, where flowers bloomed in abundance, 2 young girls played, tossing blossoms at each other and laughing. They looked to be in their mid-teens at most. Behind them, a young man from the vigilante team, spear in hand, watched over them. It was a scene of dramatic peace. I shifted my gaze to the desk. A withered flower floated in a water bottle. It's a dream. He wanted to protect this paradise forever. He was willing to make any sacrifice for it. A dream, huh? It's good to have a dream. Life without one is too bleak, especially in a place as crazy as this. Most of the masters in the Silver Star Guild had given up climbing the tower. They focused on decorating their waiting rooms, enjoying the game in their own way. In fact, most pick-me-up players were like this. As you climbed the tower, the waiting room grew, and there were dozens of things to manage. Hardly anyone studied thick books just to play a game. Are you happy? I looked at the 2 girls, still laughing. They must be happy. They didn't have to fight monsters or endure harsh training. The risk of synthesis was almost non-existent. To them, this world must seem like paradise, a higher dimension, not a hell where life and death come and go several times a day. I remembered Jenna's words from when anything hadn't logged in for a long time. She said it wouldn't be so bad even if the master never returned. Does she still think that way? I chuckled softly. It was afternoon, not long before evening. The twilight shone faintly over the towering crystal. A few days had passed since then, and our turn was last. Anything logged in early for the first time in a while, and the guild chat was buzzing with conversations from pacifist users. They're here. Footsteps echoed down the wooden corridor. I closed the curtain. Bang! The old wooden door swung open roughly. I need an answer today. A woman with a single-edged sword slung diagonally across her body stood at the door. Sijal, captain of the vigilante team. She kept coming, despite being rejected. Aren't you tired of this? Think of it as sincerity. Isn't the atmosphere a bit too rough to call it sincerity? I glanced past Sijal. Several armed vigilante members glared at me from the hallway, trying to intimidate me. It was almost cute. You are... Forget it. After babbling for about 10 minutes, Sijal looked at me with weary eyes. Stay here for the rest of your life. Let's see how long it takes for your turn to come. Sijal snorted and left with her team. If she wanted to conquer this place so badly, she'd had plenty of chances before. She seemed reluctant despite her disgust. Trickster93. Why are you rejecting it? Meanwhile, a noisy master had intruded into Anything's chat. He was a member of the vigilante team and had been incessantly chatting after Anything refused to join. Trickster93. Your hero is super strong. Isn't that Israd guy famous? You don't need to help much. Just lend us that guy and we'll handle the rest. Anything. Sorry, I'm not interested. Trickster93. Are you scared? Anything. Yes, I can't afford to get hurt here. Trickster93. LOL, unbelievable. The chat continued. Trickster93. Are you a girl? Anything. What? Trickster93. You're a girl? You seem super scared. I've seen your videos on my tube and you didn't do much. Your hero is carrying you. Aren't you just a typical girl gamer who got lucky? I didn't expect to find one even here, LOL. You even get carried by a virtual character, LOL. Anything didn't respond. I rolled the wooden horse figurine in my hand. Trickster93. Do you think you amount to anything because your hero wins events? Have you done anything properly? If I was that hero's master, I'd already be a ranker. Trickster93. Stop rejecting and lend him to us, LOL. We'll show you how to use him. You can't handle him with your skills. Clang. The door opened again. It wasn't Sijal, Jenna, or Velkist, but a skinny, bony man with 2 daggers at his waist. This must be Trickster93's hero. Perfect timing. The master has a message for you. I'll get straight to the point. Your master is incompetent. Join us. Don't you want to work under a capable master? The paint on the wooden horse figurine chipped from my grip. Trickster93. If you're a girl, you should just play with flowers like the others. Why pretend to be a ranker? You're in the perfect place, so why act different? You'd get along well with that flower maniac Blue Rose. Anything remained silent. I didn't speak to the man in front of me either. At least pretend to listen when someone talks. You have no manners. Even though you're the winner of a major tournament, you're just a coward. Stop fiddling with that useless figurine. He knocked the figurine from my left hand. Crash! The head of the wooden horse figurine shattered as it hit the floor. Ding! You have blocked Trickster93. Are you ready to talk now? Yeah. That's good. Before he could finish, my sword pierced his left shoulder. I covered his mouth as he tried to scream. Do you really want to overthrow this place? I laughed as I twisted the blade. The sound of bones and flesh tearing filled the room. He tried to draw his dagger, but I kicked his hand away. Snap! His wrist bent in the opposite direction. In the blue meadow outside, the girls handed a flower crown to Sijal as she walked by. Miss Vigilante, it's a gift for you. We heard you work hard. It's fine, really. Do you not need it? No, I'll take it. You made it beautifully. Crash! A suspicious object landed in front of them. No, rather than falling, it flew. 4 limbs bent like broken chopsticks, the whole body covered in red. At first it looked like a pill bug. It was the corpse of the man I threw out the window. I jumped down to the first floor, shaking blood from my sword. One side of the flower garden was stained red. The girls, realizing it was a corpse, turned pale. Sijal turned and shouted, You girls, go to the shelter. Darheen, go with them. Yes. The 2 girls hurried away with the young man guiding them. Sijal's eyes narrowed as she looked at the body. What did you do? Didn't you say you'd overthrow this place and now you pretend to be good? Han, what is the meaning of this? The door to the first floor opened and another guest appeared, Adilung Rizos, submaster of the Silver Star Guild under Sechorum. I took a deep breath. Sijal and her vigilante members, Adilung Rizos and his subordinates, all the heroes in the meadow were watching me. There must have been at least 100 of them. Han, fighting among family members is strictly prohibited, no matter the reason. Cut the crap. What? I'll say it once, so listen carefully. I loosened my grip on my sword and spoke to the people staring at me. Leave everything behind and get out of here. If I see you again, I'll kill you all. Do I need to make it simpler? I grinned. We're taking over this place." For a moment, the atmosphere froze. Both Sijal and Adilong wore blank expressions. "Sorry about this. It wasn't the right time yet. Jenna was still gathering information about the enemy. But you have to be able to tolerate a madman rampaging. He touched something he shouldn't have." "Does that mean, are you declaring war?" Adilong asked. I nodded. "Ding! You have left the Silver Star Guild." Anything immediately entered the tactical menu and tapped the icon of a red sword. "Master, do you want to issue an attack command on the medium-sized Ruin 847D? You crazed bastard, who do you think you are?" A man with a spear rushed at me. I sliced his body in two along with the spear shaft. When I kicked his upper body, blood and flesh splattered, painting the flower field red. "Everyone, prepare for battle!" The vigilante members drew their weapons. Sijal glanced at Adilong. "Adilong!" Adilong, face hardened, pulled out a small staff and drew a circle. A blue dimensional gate appeared. "Non-combatants, please evacuate through the rift. This passage leads to the shelter." People without weapons hurried into the dimensional gate. They really work well together. "Whether you're a mad dog or whatever, you won't return alive," Sijal growled, baring her teeth. "It seems I misjudged you," Adilong said, standing beside Sijal. Adilong was a born 4-star mage and had led during the Liberation War. They work very well together. An external enemy unites internal factions, huh? Very nice. It means I can kill them all at once. Dozens of vigilante members surrounded me from a distance, a perfect encirclement. "Ah!" A scream came from the left, and a blood-soaked body flew through the air. "You arrived early. It seems they smelled the blood. Man, why drag this out when it was inevitable?" Velkist, who had broken through the encirclement, stood beside me, blood dripping from his sword. "Yeah!" Jenna, who had leapt several meters into the air, landed beside us. "I suspected as much, but I'm glad I came right away." "Is your investigation done?" "Roughly. There's a vigilante stronghold blocking the path to the crystal. Inside, there's an object. If we hold out there, it seems we win by capture." "Good. The investigation is complete. What's left is—" I looked forward. 2 people who used to be hostile now stood shoulder to shoulder. They must have looked like this when they fought together in the past. Unfortunately, today's battle will be long. It won't just be long, this is just the beginning. Above the horizon, small dots approached. The bandits who had been biding their time noticed it too. A triangular formation. On the right was me, on the left was Velkist, and below was Jenna. "You won't hold back, will you, archer? Who do you think I am? I do what needs to be done." Jenna's hand reached for her short bow. "Watch closely, Velopa. I'll show you how those who stand in our way will taste my arrows." I spun my sword. "As of today, the Silver Star Guild is disbanded. Whether we win or lose, that can't be helped. Peace for everyone? Shove that nonsense up your ass. In this world, the strong win, and the winners take everything. I'll make you realize how pathetic your dream is." "Master, do you want to issue an attack command on the medium-sized Ruin 847D? The system window popped up in my view again. Anything was looking at the Ruin field, the circular formation of us surrounded by the vigilante members. Yes. Anything touched yes. "Warning! The capture battle is starting. Your relationship with the Silver Star Guild has turned hostile." My vision turned red. The attack signal had been given.
Chapter 208. A man clumsily thrust a spear at me. I easily deflected it and drove my sword deep into his abdomen. His eyes widened in disbelief. I kicked him away and he tumbled backward, soon lying still. There were so many of them. This was a guild with 24 masters. Even if each user sent 5 heroes, there were well over 100. Pacifist users really were stingy with their troops. Most of those blocking our way looked like they had never even held a sword. Who knows what they were told, but even heroes outside the vigilante teams had started to step in. They were probably told they couldn't protect it alone and would lose everything if they didn't join in. Another similar man charged at me. I stabbed my sword into one fallen man while simultaneously drawing a dagger with my left hand. Ugh! The swiftly thrown dagger pierced his throat. He collapsed, clutching his neck, dead. From level 40 onward, PvP protection no longer applied. In other words, dying here meant it was truly the end. Still, Silver Star's heroes kept swarming in. Our task was clear: deal with the moths rushing at us. "Why are you doing this? Is there some special reason?" I heard a Dilling's voice from beyond the screams and shouts. "A special reason? Why don't you look for it in your grave?" There were 211 unread guild chat messages. Would you like to check them? No. Anything ignored the guild chat completely. Negotiations were already over. "Don't let them into the fortress. Stop them by any means." Geez, just barking orders from behind. Velkus chuckled as he slit the throat of the swordsman. A silver flash and the two men awkwardly standing beside him met the same fate. They were cut down without even having the chance to swing their swords. "There's a lot of them, but they're just a messy rabble. They've never fought properly." Jenna twirled the dagger in her left hand. Blood from the corpses below splattered on the blade. "Die, please!" A disheveled woman rushed at me, holding a broken dagger and a torn dress. I dodged her thrust by turning to the left. "We were living Thud. The woman collapsed. Pathetic. In a siege, you should concentrate your firepower. This wasn't a tournament, yet they came at us one by one. Those in the distance just watched. Only a handful actually approached. If you don't want to fight, move aside. Sijal and the vigilantes pushed through the spectators. Their well-fitted armor straps and gleaming blades marked them as Silver Star's elite. Despite facing battle, they showed no signs of panic. It meant they had quite a bit of combat experience. "Over 50, Jenna whispered in my ear. Sijal bared her teeth at me. "I should have known you. I verified that you were really the mad dog." It would be troublesome to fight here. These weren't all the heroes in this place. I signaled Jenna and Velkist with my eyes. They seemed to understand and nodded. "Hey, why are they coming here?" Slash. Velkist, leading the charge, beheaded one of them. Gripping his sword long, he swung it mercilessly left and right. Limbs of the heroes caught in his path flew into the air. This madman! Breakthrough! Head for the fortress!" A siege had begun. Occupying the objective allows you to temporarily expel other heroes from the ruins. The left side of the encirclement was breached. They were just clueless amateurs. This was simple. Not so fast. Bang! A transparent wall blocked my path. A Dilling's defensive magic. Not really. I gathered my strength and swung my sword. Crash! The sound of breaking glass accompanied the shattered wall. I discarded the broken sword in my hand and took a spare one from Velkist. "We take the fortress. Velkist, lead the way. I'll be in the middle. Jenna, cover the rear." "Yes, sir." Jenna's hand moved, leaving an afterimage. From her short bow, arrows rained down on the vigilantes at the rear. Ping, 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 ping. Several heroes struck by the blind arrows fell to the ground. "Contact the fortress, lock the gates and send up the troops." "Yah!" I punched a man who charged at me with a scream. He fell, blood pouring from his nose. "They're coming." "I know." Heroes of Silver Star were descending the slope leading to the crystal. Dozens of them. Not just that, they were totally enraged. I looked around. Heroes were moving from the harbor on the outskirts of the field. "Han, strange people are coming this way." The pilot's voice echoed. "The Lucette is docked there too." I brought my hand to my ear. "Launch the airship and send it this way." "But what's happening? They seem like nice people." "Leave the driving to the autopilot. Load the cannon and shoot anyone who approaches." "Huh? What kind of crap? Does a rookie get to talk back? Want to get your ass handed to you?" "Sorry, I'll start right away." Room. The Lucette began to lift off from the dock. Boom! Fire spewed from the Lucette's cannon. Several heroes heading toward the dock turned to ash. The bodies Velkist had dealt with rolled down the hill. Beyond the hill, the huge crystal and surrounding walls came into view. They had already fortified it. Cannons and ballistas atop the fortress walls were aimed our way, ready to fire the moment we were in range. "Oh, Oppa, this is strange. They're heading for somewhere else." Jenna pointed to the dock. 3 medium-sized airships were rising into the air from a corner of the dock. Armored and armed with cannons, they were warships, but their prows were facing the opposite direction. They were moving outside the ruins. They're heading to attack the main base. The target is anything's waiting room. This is why I hate pacifists. They should just fight for the ruins, but they insist on turning it into a full-blown war.
This fight won't end with just capturing the ruin. They'll come after our main base for revenge or whatever. Boom, boom, boom. One of Silver Star's airships heading out from the fortress burst into flames and crashed. It wasn't the Lucettes doing. They came after all, bandits circling the ruin waiting for an opportunity. It was a fleet of PvP users. Boom! Silver Star's second airship exploded. Caught off guard, they had no chance to resist. They were indiscriminately bombarding even the evacuation airships fleeing the ruin. The left gate of the fortress opened, and cavalry rushed out in panic. They didn't even glance our way, heading straight for the harbor. Of course, if those guys landed, things would get 10 times more complicated. It was no longer one-on-one. In a one-on-one-on-one, it was impossible to tell front from back. But that was their problem. Jenna crouched low, pulling her bowstring to the limit. A large steel arrow was knocked. Jenna's eyes glowed red. Unique skill, Steel Storm, activated. Whoosh! Wind wrapped around the arrowhead and the arrow shot out with terrifying speed. A light shockwave brushed my face. The 70 centimeters long steel arrow traced an arc.
Splat! The remains of the horse and human bodies soared meters into the air. Done. Let's go. Jenna slung her bow over her shoulder. The cavalry, their formation broken, fell like bundles of straw. To work with me, you have to be at least this good. I smirked and moved toward the fortress. Jenna's precise sniping had surpassed the level of ballistae, akin to cannon fire. "Take them out first!" I heard shouts from the fortress walls. It seemed the arrow we just fired had attracted their attention. Archers, ballistae, and cannons aimed our way. Thump! A large arrow shot from a ballista. Velkist swung his sword. The ballista arrow split perfectly in half and flew to either side. Then a cannon about to fire exploded. Jenna had lodged an arrow into the barrel just before it fired. "Go first!" Velkist dodged the rain of arrows like a ghost and stuck to the fortress wall. Then he leaped vertically up the wall. Soon, bodies began to rain down from the wall. "I'll go too." Jenna alternately pushed off the wall and the air, jumping up. I looked up. The Lucette had followed us and was floating above. "Hey, are you the same humans as us? Did you take some weird drug or develop superpowers?" This brat, so noisy. "Should I stay here?" "No, take the targeting position." It looks like you're doing fine on your own." I moved to the side. A pile of soldier corpses fell where I had been standing. The fortress's defensive forces ignored the Lucette because just 2 people were wreaking havoc inside the fortress. "Shoot the gate! I need to get in." There was a cough. "Didn't these 2 just jump over? Can't you follow up? Really, what's your name?" Boom! The Lucette's cannon fired, making a small hole in the gate. "I'll cover you." It whirred upward. Really funny. I grabbed the small hole with my hand and widened it. The reinforced wooden planks spread apart, creating a gap. I moved through it. Inside, numerous troops were moving about. Reinforcements were pouring out of the buildings inside. Adelung's doing, no doubt. They seemed to be supplying personnel through dimensional gates. These guys' estimated levels were between 10 and 20. They hadn't received proper training. They were just numbers. Still, there must be around 1,000. They were buying time until the vigilantes arrived. "Stop them, by any means necessary!" A young man in vigilante attire shouted from the second-floor watchtower. I soared up at an instant, kicking the walls, buildings, and watchtower railings next to me. Crack! Grabbing his neck, he died instantly. I stood in the watchtower and looked around. Jenna and Velkist were sweeping away the troops on the walls like a broom. "You hypocrites! Got you now!" Through the gap in the gate, I saw the harbor. It was in flames, with smoke rising. Dozens of armed heroes descended from airships with red flags. Equality, peace, screw that. Ha ha ha! That's music to my ears. I looked behind the fortress, at the steep cliff. Airships were stationed at the top, and heroes with swords and spears were descending toward the fortress. Of course, they weren't Silver Star. It wasn't just one. Bang! Boom! Boom!
The sound of distant cannon fire tickled my ears. A fleet battle seemed to be underway somewhere. There must be about 10 hunters. They seemed to have set their sights on us. Airships carrying raiders were landing all over the ruins, ready to fill the entire field. They killed anyone who met their eyes and approached the crystal. This is how it should be. Ruins are supposed to be like this. They hadn't quit, but were waiting for the right moment. It's not 1-on-1-on-1. How many against how many? I don't know. Ping! I tilted my head. An arrow grazed my cheek. A sniper descending the cliff outside the fortress had shot at me. If you receive a gift, you should return it. I took a wind-up stance and threw my dagger. The dagger embedded itself in the forehead of the archer 100 meters away. Of course, we will win.
Chapter 209. The fortress, once built to guard against enemy invasions, had long since lost its original purpose. Now it was nothing more than a battlefield where dozens of masters and hundreds of heroes clashed. Now this is more like it. Velkist swung his sword at an enemy leaping from the fortress wall stairs. Corpses, their identities unknown, piled up at his feet, and his leather armor was already stained red with blood. Ping, 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 ping! Arrows flew from Jenna's short bow, striking 4 bandits climbing the fortress wall with ladders. Ka ha ha! Kill them! Kill them! You think that's possible? Inside the fortress, it was nearly impossible to distinguish between allies and enemies. Heroes swung their weapons at anyone in reach, uncaring if they struck friend or foe. Every building was engulfed in hot smoke and flames. The sounds of clashing weapons, desperate screams, explosions, and flesh being torn apart mingled with manic laughter, echoing like a twisted orchestra throughout the ruins. How many of them are there? Jenna whistled, not pausing her relentless shooting. I swung my sword without looking back. Blood gushed from the diagonally severed torsos of 2 men. There are quite a lot. We stood on one side of the fortress wall, observing the chaos. Fighting recklessly wasn't the answer. To enjoy a delicious meal, you need to let it simmer. In a siege, killing many didn't matter. Whether you killed 100 or just 1, the side that captured the central objective would be victorious. If one side succeeded, the other forces would be locked out of the ruins for a time. The vigilantes must be there. If they were magicians, they could quickly move through the dimensional gate, forming the final defensive line in front of the objective. Boom! An airship spewed fire and crashed into the fortress. When its bow struck the wall, debris flew in all directions. Crash! A few nearby heroes were turned into mincemeat. Ah! I looked up. An aerial battle was unfolding above. 3 airships with different emblems were chasing the Lucette. Bang, 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 bang! Scarlet artillery fire bloomed in the sky. The Lucette dodged left and right, evading the bombardment. Take good care of it. If you blow up our new toy, there won't be any super rice. Help me! We're down here and you're up there. How could we help? Handle it yourself. Once we capture the ruins, we can mass-produce those airships. We can just make new ones. You mad dog! I stabbed a flustered man in the gut. Mad dog. Whoever gave me that nickname, if I ever meet them, I'll grind them up nicely. I squinted. Heroes from each faction fought frantically on the walls, roads, and alleys. But the key forces weren't here. They had gone inside, where the objective was. It's about time we went in too. I didn't plan to drag this out. I looked at Jenna and Velkist. The 2 nodded silently, sensing my thoughts. Let's go. Without hesitation, I jumped off the 8-meter-high fortress wall. Thud. I landed on the roof of a building inside the fortress and leapt to the next building 2 meters away. The 2 quickly followed. Slash! As I cut down an assassin on the roof, my vision blurred. 1-inch TV. Pick me up. Mad Dog reappears in the ruins. BJ, Sigyn. Viewers, 511. Someone had started a broadcast. It was rare to see such a large-scale battle on the 40th floors. Move away. I moved the broadcast window to the right. The viewers were chattering, but I ignored them. Let them watch if they want. My skills had already been revealed in the event match, anyway. From roof to roof, from wall to wall, we cleared away any annoying enemies and moved towards the inner fortress.
As expected, here it was a bit more distinguishable. In the middle of the inner fortress, a crystal symbolizing the ruin rose like a skyscraper. Around the crystal, the Silver Star vigilantes had set up barricades. "Ka ha ha! Kill them! Kill those herbivores!" Raiders swarmed at the barricades like ants. There it is. I noticed a narrow staircase leading underground in front of the crystal. If we went in there, there would be a goddess statue overseeing the entire ruin. What should we do? Should we sneak in? I shook my head. The entire barricade was surrounded by a transparent barrier, a mage's magical barrier. That's why mages are a nuisance. Sneaking in is the most efficient. The underground path of the ruin is very narrow. 3 people could block it easily. The original plan was to deal with Adelung first, but some crazy guy messed things up. If they know we're here, they'll give us a warm welcome. After all, we're the ones who caused this chaos. Block them at all costs. Contact the other masters. Call in everyone whether they're here or not. In front of the barricade, Sigil shouted as she cut down enemies. Whether the message got through or not, reinforcements for the Silver Star kept coming. Cannons inside the defensive line fired continuously, checking the airships above. There were 24 masters from the same sector, not a small number. It seems there's no choice but to break through the front. Velkist raised his sword. He had cut down so many that the blade was completely dull. "I'll take the lead." "Wait, if we join the fray, there's a risk of being attacked by both the Silver Star and the bandits. If they know anything about me, they won't hesitate to team up." I looked back. Masters from neighboring sectors seemed to have caught the scent too. Another fleet of airships was gathering. "We need to finish this quickly. We could call for reinforcements from the waiting room, but it would be a waste to use them here." I thought for a moment, then looked at the two. "So we're breaking through the front?" "Yes, but I'll go alone." I continued. "I'll draw attention over there, and you two sneak into the underground entrance, block the front, and take control of the place." "Can you do it alone?" "What choice do we have? We have to try." "Oppa, you'll cause a commotion, and we'll sneak in, right?" Jenna smiled brightly. I nodded. "Then I'll leave it to you. Velkopa, let's go." Velkist looked slightly displeased, but soon hardened his face and followed Jenna. After confirming the two had disappeared, I jumped off the wall. The strategy is becoming similar each time. This time, too, it's about causing a ruckus. Well, it's the most efficient way, so it can't be helped. I smiled as I spun my sword and slowly approached the barricade. "Halcyon Siros, here I am. It's your turn now." "I've waited. I'm going to die waiting." Crackle. Crimson lightning started to crackle in my left hand. "Now, your talent is truly remarkable. To have such a high synchronization rate. What are you made of? Why do you care? Now I can merge even without the sparrow present. I didn't have to listen to its noisy chatter." Sigil and I locked eyes. Her blue eyes distorted and flames flared inside them. "I'll kill you." She walked towards me, slicing 2 more people like radishes. Her entire body was already covered in blood. Squeak! When Sigil blew the whistle around her neck, the Silver Star vigilante's attention all turned to me. "Oh my, look who it is!" Outside the crystal, a man with skulls dangling from his waist looked at me. He twirled his curved sword and twisted his lips. "Isn't that the infamous Mad Dog?" Perfect timing. I was bored. Now there's one more neck to offer the master. He stepped on the corpses scattered like trash and approached me. "Guys, let's kill that guy first. He's a nuisance if left alive." "Can't argue with that." Sharp eyes shot toward me. They moved. The true elites raised that each master with painstaking effort. They were on a completely different level from the other rabble. They had captured and eaten dozens, if not hundreds, and undergone grueling training and countless real battles. 1-inch TV. Pick me up. Mad Dog reappears in the ruins. BJ Sigan. Viewers, 5,112. Before I knew it, the number of viewers had increased tenfold. Annoying. I took a deep breath. Somewhere, Jenna and Velkist must be waiting for an opportunity. There's no need to hold back. "You're dead now." Sigil spat out blood-mixed saliva. A purple pattern emerged on her cheek, the mark of an engraving. "Don't think it's unfair, mister. You shouldn't have caused trouble if you wanted to live. Oh! Other guys activated their engravings simultaneously. Then, boom! With the sound of wind tearing, spearheads, swords, arrows, and magic bullets shot toward me, covering dozens of meters. I flipped the switch. Han, 4 stars, has entered Ascend state. Boom! It felt like a bomb went off in my head. Blood surged wildly through my veins. Look at these insects. Crackle, crackle, crackle. Crimson lightning surged from my entire body. Unique skill, Black Dragon Scales, activated. Clang, clang, clack, clack, clack. This hero is immune to magic. This hero is immune to magic. This hero is immune to physical attacks. This hero is immune to physical attacks. This hero is immune to magic. This hero is immune to physical attacks. Level 3. The Black Dragon blood was at level 3. I gripped my sword firmly. Come. Sure. The Black Dragon scale spread from my left shoulder to cover my entire body in an instant. Danger. Han, 4 stars, is starting to become corrupted. An alien force invaded my body. This must be the Black Dragon's true blood that Gugu Khan mentioned. It felt like needles sprouted all over my veins. This is just right. Whatever it is, anything worth having comes with risks. Crackle, crackle, crackle. The crimson lightning formed dragon-shaped wings behind me. My vision turned red. You're not going to lose your mind here, are you? Not a chance. I smirked. What's that? A monster! I planted my feet firmly. That alone caused the ground to dent and cracks to spread in all directions. My reflection in the blade was no longer human. Well, this is... Boom! My body shot up tens of meters into the air. It wasn't just a jump. I was flying. Let's go with about 1,000 times, shall we? 1,000 times would be about 80 tons. Not bad for a demonstration. I looked down. Dozens of heroes stared up at me blankly. Crackle. The lightning that had been crackling all over my body subsided. From level 3 of the Black Dragon blood, I could handle gravity in earnest. Well, it's not a big deal. At most, I can just increase my weight. If you want to live, run away! From far away, Jenna shouted as she ran toward the barricade. What a pointless act. I stomped in the air. My body began to fall. Accelerate. Thump! The descent speed, which had been slow, shot up dozens of times. More! After a few more accelerations, I broke the sound barrier. I drew my sword to its limit. Blue flames blazed from the blade. Skill, Soul Blade Fusion, activated. Just before hitting the ground, I swung my sword. And this is what a massacre looks like. Heaven and earth turned upside down.
Chapter 210. I sat on a large rock. The backlash from the Soul Blade fusion had reduced the sword to powder, and even my sturdy leather armor was in tatters. My body was in terrible shape. Despite the defensive effects of the Black Dragon scale, I had suffered penalties from Ascend and the Soul Blade fusion, then fallen from a height of several dozen meters at super speed. Still, I had achieved my goal, drawing attention and causing a disturbance. Jenna and Velkist had entered the underground of the ruins. I looked down. The once lush field was now overturned. Where I had landed, a small crater had formed, as if a meteor had struck, with shattered rock fragments scattered around. Even finding a corpse would be difficult. Human flesh would have turned to ash and vanished. What the hell? I turned to the side. Far off, the heroes who had been squabbling near the barricade were now staring at me, frozen. They had even forgotten to swing their weapons. Eek! The man who met my eyes turned pale. He started backing away, then spun and fled in panic. His companions followed. Dozens of heroes who had been attacking the Silver Star Guild fled toward the fortress en masse. 1-inch TV. Pick me up. The Mad Dog reappears in the ruins. BJ. Sijin. Viewers. 8,312. I sighed and stood up from the rock.
then walked slowly toward the crystal where the barricade was set up. Like ants scattering, people backed away from wherever I went. Pika Pika 3. Nuljol Ara. Oh, this guy knows how to play. Landover 17. That guy is insane. Isn't this a level 40 ruin? RRR. Yes, it's a level 40 ruin. Landover 17. I'd believe it if he said he was a 6-star. Read Q2. Super Meteor Strike. I cleared the chat window again. Even though I pushed it to the corner, dozens of lines of chat appeared at once, blocking my view. Everyone, prepare for battle! One of the vigilante members hastily drew his sword, pointing his trembling right hand at me. Don't be scared, it's just one enemy. Don't let the ruins be taken. But Sijarnim is... he'll be all right. To come to think of it, I don't see that woman. She was in the center of the blast zone, so she probably turned to powder and disappeared. The others who had picked a fight with me likely met the same fate. They should have listened to Jenna. The heroes who had gathered to attack me were annihilated all at once. They were the leaders of the Ruin Occupation Force and elite heroes from each master. A significant gap had formed in the battle. Wow. The Lucette airship hovered above me. The other airships had disappeared. That's amazing. Not really. It was clear I was a 4-star. Compared to high-level heroes, my stats were average, but my skill level, engravings, and proficiency were on a different level. The best I could do with the engraving here was make my body slightly faster, tougher, and stronger. However, it wasn't enough to overturn a battlefield alone. This skill had great destruction power, but the movement was large and the landing point easy to predict. Furthermore, once used, Ascend and Black Dragon Scale couldn't be used for a while, so it wasn't a perfect skill. If they had moved out of the way as soon as I jumped, the damage would have been much less. This is the difference in experience. The heroes here probably had little experience fighting enemies with superhuman strength. It's funny, it's like fighting a monster indeed. Large movements and predictable landing points. Easier said than done. An 80-ton object falling at supersonic speed. I clicked my tongue. With a single show of force, the battle had come to a halt. I looked around the outskirts of the ruins. Most of those who had landed to take the ruins were fleeing. With the death of the leader-level heroes, they probably thought continuing to fight would only bring greater losses. It seems they thought I could use that technique several times. I turned my eyes to the Silver Star barricade. The vigilante members with drawn weapons were facing off against me, but they had no intention of charging. They watched me with frightened eyes from a distance. A familiar young man stepped forward. With even such power, you had Adilong Wizos, the leader of the Silver Star heroes. His neat outfit was dirty with dust and blood. His lips were blue as if his magic had backfired. Adilong looked at me with vacant eyes. From the beginning, were you playing with us? What are you talking about? Enough of your nonsense. I'm sick of hearing it. I scoffed. This guy was no fool. He must have known the vigilante group was going to stab the Silver Star in the back. We're finished, aren't we? It seems so. All the Silver Star heroes in the fortress were dead. There weren't many left near the barricade, and the elite heroes had been annihilated. Even if we retreated now, others would soon come to take the ruins. Innocent people were killed too. Is that so? The entire ruins had become a battlefield. Most of the non-combatants of the Silver Star here would have died. PvP users indiscriminately bombarded airships carrying refugees. I had other options. I could have helped the Silver Star drive out the vigilante group and received the resources I needed. There would have been no need for such bloodshed. Adilong showed no will to fight. By now he must have heard that Jenna and Velkist had approached the goddess statue, but he said nothing, only showing a bitter smile. If you don't want to fight, then stay in the waiting room and never come out. Live self-sufficiently with the kids in the waiting room. Don't instill weird ideas in others. It will never go the way you want. The Silver Star Guild was already in ruins. Even without me, it would soon have disbanded. I had just accelerated the timing. Is this rationalization? Well, it doesn't matter. I leaned against the rock behind me. Global announcement. Master Anything has successfully occupied the ruin. Heroes of other masters will be automatically removed from the area in 10 seconds. Flash. The crystal beyond the barricade turned blue. It was a notification of successful occupation. Han! What? I looked back at Adelong. His body was faintly shimmering. Reverse summoning. He was returning to the waiting room. We will not forget today's events. Do as you wish. Adelong disappeared into the light. The other heroes who had been pointing their swords at me awkwardly disappeared one by one. Eventually, no one was left here but me. Congratulations, Master, on your successful occupation of the ruin. Congratulations, Master, on your successful occupation of the ruin. Tips. A Ruins tab has been created in the menu. In the Ruins tab, you can check the resource status and the date of the next occupation battle. Strengthen your defenses and replenish your troops. We wish you victory in the next battle as well. A victory message appeared on anything screen with fanfare.
I grabbed my throbbing head and walked toward the barricade. The after effects of Ascend and Black Dragon Scale and the aftermath of the contamination left my body in shambles. Saying they won't forget. I've heard that thousands of times. Is that so? Don't mind it. Heroes carry thousands of grudges and hatreds on their backs as they move forward. If I cared, I wouldn't have done this. I was tired of the talk about heroes and whatnot. Anyway, the ruin ended with Taunia's victory. Anything moved to the next stage immediately. After setting up a dimensional gate connecting the waiting room and the ruin, he summoned the workers. Then he ordered the collection of rare woods and ores scattered throughout the ruins. These resources would be used to make equipment in airships. It'll be just take and leave this time. There was about a week left until the next occupation battle in reality. If we gathered resources by then, it would be enough to increase our strength. The enemies would probably form alliances and attack in the next round. Attacking with a few and defending with a few were completely different matters. It would be better to take and leave. I couldn't afford to deplete the waiting room's strength here. Black Dragon Strike. Taunia's fourth-floor office. Iselle, wearing a black dragon mask, was flapping her wings. Iselle spun around and fell quickly. Laughing heartily, Iselle took off her mask. Above heaven and earth, I alone am supreme. Invincible, I am the unparalleled Loki. This is the prelude to the legend, Gah! I grabbed Iselle's cheek and stretched it. Her soft cheeks stretched like clay. Why? I stayed up all night preparing to show you. What's with the Black Dragon Strike? It's Loki's skill name. How is it? Isn't it super cool? I grabbed one of Iselle's wings and spun her around. Iselle's body spun like a windmill. Gah! Stop it! While spinning Iselle with my left hand, I moved the hologram cursor with my right. The official pick-me-up cafe screen appeared on the window before me. Incident board. Reporting Master Anything. CBEU. I am Seacharum, the Guild Master of the Pacifist Guild Silver Star. I'm writing this to inform many peaceful city users, pacifist users, and friendly users who enjoy pick-me-up about an incident that occurred in our guild. Of course there was. I increased Iselle's spinning speed. Gah! Seacharum, D-Lang's master, had posted on the incident board. The post with several attached screenshots detailed the circumstances of anything joining the guild and the start of the occupation battle. Of course, it cleanly omitted what anything had heard from the vigilante group members and what had happened during the resource distribution process. Comments. 548. Hundreds of comments were attached. It seemed to have drawn quite a bit of attention. It was a good post for community users always hungry for drama to grab popcorn over. Nadadima. Isn't anything the user who posted the clear videos on MyTube? Reply Red Shoot. Yes, everyone who knows knows. That person's video is about a single hero sweeping everything. Romantic Rabbit. In any case, it means anything did some trashy stuff. Joined the guild for resources, then wiped them out when things went a little wrong. Would have been better to attack from the start. This is just playing around. Total trash. Put your ID here. His personality is top-notch. I watched that occupation battle broadcast, and it seemed like he got pissed because they didn't help when he asked. There are quite a few attention seekers like that. Masters acting like pros after getting one good hero. So annoying. Smashing Earth. Give me his coordinates. I'll go break his skull. Reply KR98. I'll go too. I was bored. Perfect timing. PM me the coordinates. I'll prepare the fleet and go after him. We'll post proof after. Here we go again. The community's usual. Not a bug, something allowed in game, but they're whining again. Did he harm you? From what I see, he just occupied the ruins.
The community judges are at it again. Reply, KR98. You must be a PicGal user. Go back to your base. Don't act up here unless you want to die. Reply, Black Witch. That guy is from PicGal. Don't engage. Nana King. People planning justice, be careful. That guy's hero is damn strong. I checked and his specs are no joke. Top student of Niflheim, swept victories in the 4-star dimensional city and carried the occupation battle on solo. Reply, KR98. Still a low-level noob. The comment section was a mess. There were occasional users defending anything, but they were soon buried under the barrage of criticism. Wah! I increased Azel's spinning speed even more. According to Azel, anything had seen this post too, but he hadn't posted a rebuttal. Yes, that's better. I've gone through similar situations. Once a public opinion campaign starts in a community, rebuttals rarely work. Here and there, IDs belonging to the Silver Star Guild were noticeable. They were pushing with the numbers. Even if anything posted what kind of messages he had received, they would spin it and paint him as bad-mannered. A witch hunt doesn't end until the target is completely vilified. This is how pacifists took revenge on carnivores. It's okay. I looked up. Anything who had logged into the game was staring blankly at the main screen. Don't mind them. No matter what they say, do as you wish. That's why I'm here for.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like the video. Have a suggestion? Let me know in the comments.